Hey guys, what's going on? It's Eli, back with another review video, and of course, continuing on with the Alien review marathon. Well, only two left. Yep, two left. So, the second to last film in the Alien franchise, well, as I mentioned in the last review video, this taking place before the events of the first two Alien films. And this is more of a prequel and such. And this is something that Ridley Scott wanted to do for quite a while. And finally, his dream would come true doing a film talking about the origins and backstory and so on before the events of the first Alien film, yeah. And it was nice to see that this was the first film in the Alien franchise that did pretty well, yeah. And for me, I thought this was pretty good. Yeah. So that's right, guys. Finally, I'm reviewing from, just to be sure, I had to quickly check, from 2012, Prometheus. Yes, Prometheus. Yeah, this was a pretty good, as I said, this did not disappoint for me. This was a pretty interesting, prequel film being set, 30 years before the events of the first Alien film that I've said a couple of times. And actually, because what we don't realize at first, this film fools us. Why it fools us and why I'm saying this, well, until I get there. Yeah, so, again, now that I finally have seen and watched Prometheus, and, well, thanks to the Alien Review Marathon, because now it gets me to, get around to watching these films. With what Prometheus had to offer and taking place years before the first Alien film, because where the story was going, and with these batch of characters, and the intenseful stuff, and, there were some funny moments here and there, and especially some heavy stuff, for sure, yeah. And the fact that Sir Ridley Scott, the father of the Alien franchise, he came back and, well, because he wanted to do a movie like this, and he would be in the director's chair, rightfully so, yeah. Overall, because Prometheus, it was a really good prequel film, and where it was going, it was really good. Alright, so, as always, read the description / the story. Discovery of a clue to mankind's origins on Earth leads a team of explorers to the darkest parts of the universe. Two brilliant young scientists lead the expedition. Shaw hopes that they will meet a race of benevolent, if I'm getting that right, godlike beings who will, in some way, verify her religious beliefs, while Holloway, I think I got that right, is out to debunk, any spiritual notions. However, neither the scientists nor their shipmates are prepared for the unimaginable terrors that await them. Okay, so, getting into the film itself, because, honestly, not what I was kind of expecting. I mean, I've seen some bits and pieces of this film, including, one, gruesome moment, what happens to Shaw. I'm sure you know what it is, but until we get there. And we see, these, alien creatures. They're space junkies, but they're referred to as engineers, and, believed to be, they were responsible for creation of humanity and stuff like that, and as I read in the description / the story. And the opening to it, well, because, we see, this waterfall on this planet, and, one of the engineer aliens, as they're called, is up at this huge waterfall. He drank something, and it just, killed him. Killing himself? I mean, I think we find out later on, I guess, the reason why the engineer, drank whatever it was, and just, basically killing him and, falling into the waterfall. But and coming to our main human characters, the two scientists, Elizabeth Shaw, being played by Numi Rapace, if I'm even saying her full name right. Again, you know me sometimes. And also Charlie Holloway, yeah, being played by Logan Marshall Green. Yeah. So they discover and find this star map in this cave, inside of a cave. Almost looks like cave drawings. I guess that's kind of what it's supposed to be. And they think that it's a sign or something, like, you know, like to go to inviting them out in space and to the planet and stuff like that. And then, of course, we come to the ship, the main ship that they use to travel onto an undisclosed planet and such, being called Prometheus. Yeah, the title of the movie is the name of the ship. So, and hey, just like, say, well, with Alien Romulus, the space station, the main focus of the film, the space station being named Romulus. So there's that example. So, and the rest of our cast of characters that help out and join the two scientists, we have David, played by Michael Fassbender, aka Young Eric / Magneto. Yeah, and yeah, he had already became Eric / Magneto, you know, a year before doing Prometheus. Yeah, so. And there's also Meredith Vickers, and they, you know, most of the time, the other characters, they call her Miss Vickers. Meredith Vickers being played by good old Charlize Theron. And the captain of the Prometheus ship, Hynek, I think I'm saying that right, you know, because his name starts with the letter J, so, you know. The captain of the Prometheus ship being played by good old Idris Elba. Yeah, nice to see him be a part of this franchise. And also there's, Fifield, if I'm getting that right, being played by Sean Harris. Milburn being played by Ralph Spall. And there's Chance being played by Eamon Elliott. Yeah. And Rivel, if I'm getting that right, Rivel being played by good old Benedict Wong. And this, you know, him and Prometheus, this was years before he would become and portray Wong in the MCU, and of course Doctor Strange. Yeah, so and there's also Ford being played by Kate Dickie, and the mercenaries, yeah, the mercenaries that you know, in this movie, like mercenaries 1, 2, 3, and 4, they were played by Brainwell Donaghy, if I'm getting that right, Valdemir Fordo Furtick, C.C. Smith, and Shane Stein, if I'm getting that right, yeah. And the engineers, well, I assume, like, the body performances of the engineers, you know, they're aliens. Last engineer was Ian White, Ghost engineer, John Leber, Sacrifice engineer, Daniel James, and also, yeah, because when we get the introduction of our characters on the Prometheus ship, and one of the first ones we see is David, he's the only one, while the rest of the people on the ship, they are in hypersleep. David spending his time, like, watching classic movies. He dyes his hair blonde, learning different languages, I think, like, Japanese, I want to say. And, well, he looks through some of the crew members' dreams. He looks through Dr. Shaw's dreams, and we see a young Shaw being played by Lucy Hutchinson, yeah, and Shaw's father, cameo of Patrick Wilson. Yeah, so Patrick Wilson cameos in this movie as Shaw's father, and young Shaw asking her daddy about, you know, life after death and such, and heaven and paradise and so on. And unfortunately, at a young age, Shaw lost her mother, and eventually she would lose her father. And David finds out, and he learns how she lost her father. Yeah, so they're all woken into from hypersleep and such, and all of them come together, and, well, with holographic footage, a recorded message from Peter Wayland. Yeah, we see Peter Wayland in Prometheus, and for the first time ever, aside from Alien vs. Predator, that being its own thing, as I explained when I reviewed the two Alien vs. Predator films, that being their own thing, their own canon universe, Prometheus, which being canon and in the universe of the Alien franchise, this is the first time ever we see the man who started it all with that god-awful company, Weyland. Yeah, Peter Weyland. Peter Weyland being played by good old Guy Pearce. Yeah. And I actually, because I've seen James Rolfe, aka the Angry Video Game Nerd, his review on Prometheus, it's his opinion, I understand, and yeah, it would have been nice, because, you know, he felt that maybe, you know, old man Peter Weyland should have been played by an actual old man. But no hard feelings towards Guy Pearce, and I think the same goes for James Rolfe. We all love Guy Pearce, and you know what? I think, and I'm sure that goes for everybody else, and maybe you guys feel the same way too, he was good as Peter Weyland. I mean, knowing Guy Pearce, he's a great actor, and I'd say he's about good in anything he does. So yeah, old man Peter Weyland left a message and letting the crew of the Prometheus ship, letting them know who's in charge, and that being the two scientists. And unfortunately, poor Vickers, she's not really in charge of this. And the two scientists, they lay out, like, fossilized stuff and mentioning about these aliens and the engineers and where they're supposed to go and so on. Some of them, I don't think they're that thrilled to do this. I think mainly Fifield, yeah, the bearded guy. He's not thrilled, yeah, sorry, having trouble saying it, thrilled by this. But eventually, yeah, because they make their way to the planet, and, yeah, if I'm correct, because we saw this in the background of the recorded message of old man Peter Weyland, I guess, like, they were going to build a society or whatever it was on this planet that they were going to, because, yeah, the name of, like, the planet they go to and such, yeah, well, the planet that they arrive to is LV-223. And, well, because I named it, I might as well go ahead and mention this. This movie fooled us, and best said by James Rolfe, and how I'm going to say it, because, yeah, this movie fooled us into thinking that they would be going on the same planet that the crew of Nostromo went to in the first Alien film, but it was not the same location, planet, and so on, because that was where they were in the first Alien film, was not this one in Prometheus. It was LV-426, yeah. And it's, and what they discover later on the planet, well, not the same as what was in the first Alien film, but at least, like, I think Prometheus did a good job on that, and, you know, and because the timeline of Prometheus taking place 30 years, yeah, before the first Alien film, and what the crew of Nostromo find on that other planet, same thing that they find, that the crew of Prometheus find on the other planet. I think you get what I'm saying, but yeah. Anyways, so again, they arrive on LV-226, yeah, no, I'm sorry, 223, yeah, 223, so, by the way, because the timeline of this movie, I believe, yeah, because taking place in, 2093, yeah, so, it was a 2-year journey, yeah, because, you know, hence they were in hypersleep, and the crew explores the moon's surface, where they come across an alien structure, yeah, because when they come across, and to speed things up, because when they stumble upon and find an alien structure, and what they discover inside, and let me tell you, because things would kind of slowly, very slowly but surely, all hell would break loose for the crew of Prometheus, sadly. And it's also discovered, according to the recorded message from old man Mr. Weyland, because talking about his son David, and, well, we find out from him that, well, David is not human. He is an android. It wouldn't be an Alien movie without an android, now would it? So, yeah, so what goes on when they go inside further and what they discover? Like, you know, they discover these vases? I think sometimes people call them vases. Sometimes we call them vases, you know. And something inside of these vases and the structures that they look around, and even when some of them just don't feel comfortable with doing this, like I said, you know, The bearded guy, well, yeah, Fivefold, yeah, because he's only here for, like, I guess, like, money and, like, finding rocks and so on. But Elizabeth Shaw and Charlie, yeah, the two scientists, like, what they're wanting to do and so on. And there are times where, yeah, they have bickering moments with Meredith Vickers and with this mission and so on. Not really going that great, and, you know, not really getting along with Miss Vickers. And I would feel as though that probably, kind of, more than likely, because Miss Vickers kind of being the main antagonist. I mean, I will say this, like, she does not do anything, I guess you could say, in comparison to, like, what Burke did in Aliens. So, you know, but I'm pretty sure, yeah, because I don't see why not. Because them bringing back something from where they're at, back to Earth, and, yeah. So to speed things up, because, well, at one point, they come into this one room, there's a mural, and there's this, like, big-headed statue. Obviously, that's to resemble the alien species, the engineer, and, yeah. And they see that the mural is changing. And, well, they make a run for it, because, like, crazy things happen, and part of my friend's shit happens, and them just escaping, yeah. Yeah, and just throughout the rest of the movie, what's going on with these poor crew members, and for the two scientists, yeah, but, and they do pick up what they retrieve from inside of the alien structure, kind of a bad idea, and so on, and, yeah, and also I'd like to point out, because I'm pretty sure, even I was kind of thinking of the same thing, you would expect to see already, like, facehuggers and xenomorphs. Not really. But, I mean, just keep in mind, because, like, this movie, like, being an origin story and, like, you know, when this began and what would happen next 30 years later, so, yeah. Okay, and more on, say, Elizabeth Shaw and Charlie Holloway, the two scientists. Well, I think it's obvious, and at a certain point we realize, yeah, because they seem to have feelings for one another. And, you know, even at one point, because when they start, you know, canoodling and so on, intercourse, and when David mentions that, but good reason why he mentions, you know, them intercourse, but anyways. And, you know, moments with, like, each of the characters on the Prometheus ship, from the captain and with Ravel, and even, like, the captain. He at one point, like, tried flirting with Vickers, I believe. Yeah, I think it's obvious. And I think she went along with it, and so on. Also, I'm not sure if the movie establishes this. I don't know, because, possibly Miss Vickers could have been an android as well. Possibly. I mean, I guess it kind of seemed like it, and with her personality, but, you know. So, yeah, and, even, like, something bad happens to Fivefold and Milburn, because they're back inside in the alien structure, and they come across something that's swimming in this liquid inside of the alien structure. And that turns out to be, they're called Hammer Petty Tribulate Deacon. I think so. Like, yeah, the Hammer Petty, I think that's it. Like, kind of like this, like, cobra-looking creature or something, because we know how cobras stand, and ugh. One of them, I think, yeah, Milburn, stupidly, like, you know, saying, "It's okay, baby," and just, like, trying to assure the creature that everything's okay, and, you know, the creature can trust them, but should have seen it coming, because the Hammer Petty, if I am saying that right, yeah, you know, just basically starts going at them, like, munching on and, like, breaking one of his arms, and then, you know, Fidel, like, falling into the liquid, and just basically they meet their demise, sadly. They sadly meet their demise, at least one of them, because something happens to the other, and we see him later on. The crew is alerted that they have not come back, and, well, Charlie is the first one to wake up, and, something happens to him. He starts not to feel very good. Well, because clearly something happened to him when being inside of that alien structure, and something in his eye, like it's red, and yeah. And so again, they're alerted that Milburn and Feifel, they've not come back, and thus they all head out. And it doesn't take too long for Shaw to realize that something is not right, and something's wrong with Holloway. And what they're doing inside, and that especially goes for David, because he explores furthermore inside of the alien structure, even having a camera on so Meredith Vickers can see. But at a certain point, David turns off his camera, and Meredith, just calmly saying, "You son of a bitch, you cut me off." Yeah. I mean, I guess, David had a reason, obviously, and not for Miss Vickers to see, because, he comes into this one room that's the same kind of room that we saw in the first Alien film, where they discovered that fossilized alien, and something that burst out of that fossilized, mummified alien through its chest. Yeah, that room. And to speed things up still, because, once again, shit happens, and yeah, them still collecting some things from inside of the alien structure. Holloway is still not feeling good. And, because they can see, of course, that he's not feeling too good. It's spreading, and it's so bad, and them making their way back to the ship. However, Meredith Vickers, aside from everybody getting back on Prometheus, she will not have Holloway get on, because, she can see that he's not doing so good, and the risks, And, Shaw, she wants to rescue her beloved, but even Charlie, as much as he would hate for this to happen, he knows that, he's not going to survive this. And he gets close to Miss Vickers, and when she has a flamethrower, and hey, it wouldn't be an Alien film without not also having a flamethrower. I will say, because the technology, the wardrobe, the costumes, of course, mainly the spacesuits, and with the weapons, pretty cool. They're pretty cool stuff. Yeah, and with the ship and design, not bad. So Vickers telling Holloway to stay away, but he's wanting her to do so. He's wanting her to set him on fire, and she does so. And sadly, it was the only way to save everybody for now. Yeah. And then what happens next? I think Shaw, she passed out. Then she finds herself in a medical room, and David attending to Miss Shaw. And it turns out, and according to David, he discovers that Shaw is 3 months pregnant. How? Even Shaw just is wondering how this is possible. And and as I mentioned, David, knowing that, her and Charlie, they had intercourse, but that was, according to her, 10 hours ago. That's impossible. But, no, the fetus, according to David, the fetus is very different, and it's not a regular fetus. This isn't a regular baby. Nothing like that. This is completely different. There is something inside of her that will possibly, at any point, will burst out of her chest, and, she wants it to be removed, but, there's no chance of doing so for them. And even when, because she knocks out 2 of the crew members, they were going to do something to her. She stopped them. She was alone and went to another room in one of those containers, and with that has to do with surgery and such. And yeah, because I've seen this clip, and yeah, there's no denying how gruesome this is. But of course, Shaw doing whatever it takes to get whatever it is out of her. So basically, yeah, the machines, the instruments, they take care of her, opening, cutting open her stomach and taking it out. And we know it's something. We know it's some kind of alien, whatever. And also to point out, in that, alien, structure, because, they went inside, there are no eggs. There are no eggs in that ship and such. Yeah, like I said, this movie fooling us, thinking that this was the same planet and same ship that we would see in the first Alien film. No. And I'll talk more about that later on. So yeah, more on the sequence for, what happens to poor Shaw, but as much as, she, how painful this is for her, she's got to save her life. And I tell you, because the character of Elizabeth Shaw, and with Noomi Rapace, again, if I'm saying her full name right, she does not disappoint in this. She was really good in this. And, well, everybody else was great. Let's face it, from Michael Fassbender, Charlize Theron, Idris Elba, Guy Pearce, and so on. Yeah, they were all great in this. Yeah, and eventually, because, what's inside of her is out, and, the machine's, bandaging up her cut open stomach, and yeah, it'll heal, obviously. And her just getting out of there and closing and trapping that whatever it is that was inside of her, and just, yeah. And to speed things up still, because, yeah, at one point, Elizabeth Shaw enters in this one room she can hear talking. Apparently, old man Peter Wayland is still alive, because he had been put into hypersleep and such, because him tagging along on this adventure and wanting to go inside and see because of these engineers and what David discovered and what David told his father. Yeah, because David is considered, again, a son to Peter Wayland, and yeah. And, well, Shaw is telling them that it's a bad idea, and with what has happened now, because this is bad, and with and not what they expected. It's unfortunate for what Shaw and Charlie, what they were hoping for, but it was a twist around. It was a twist, yeah. So, anyways, and they get in these fancy spacesuits, and and Elizabeth Shaw, even though she's still hurting bad from what just happened to her, poor girl, she joins along. She joins alongside David, Peter Wayland, and yeah, Ford. Yeah, because Ford being there. So, yeah, and also to name some of the other cast members. Oh yeah, okay. I don't think I did. Was she? I don't remember seeing her. I might have missed her. I don't know. But Shaw's mother appears in this movie, and Shaw's mother, as she's credited, Shaw's mother being played by Gianni Facio, if I'm getting the full name right. If any of you are familiar with her, I think maybe I am too. There's also mechanics 1, 2, 3, and 4. They were played by James Embry, Florin Robin, Matthew Burgess, yeah, and Eugene O'Hara, yeah, so them being in the ship as well, Prometheus, and there's also the archaeological assistants. There were 4 of them. They're being played by Richard Thomas, Philip Glenley, yeah, Jenny Rainsford, and Rona Croker, I think so, yeah. And there were some computer ship voices. Oh, and Robin Aitken Downs. I know him. He did a voice. He did one of the ship computer voices. That's cool. Good for him. Okay, so, them going back into the alien structure, and some of them remaining behind. Even there was a moment between Peter Whaling and his daughter. Yeah. Miss Vickers is Peter Whaling's daughter. And, well, yeah, because Wayland disagreeing with her daughter, and, well, she gets to stay behind. So, yeah, so again, and to speed things up still, because they make their way back into the alien structure. Oh, and by the way, because completely almost forgot to mention this, Milburn, yeah, it was Milburn. He, I believe, yeah, it was Milburn, because he technically survived, but he became this, half human, half alien, zombie or unstoppable creature, whatever. And, nobody was able to stop him up until, well, the captain had to step out, and a couple of other crew members, and I think, yeah, they did succeed. They did succeed taking him down, so, yeah. But anyways, so when they go inside and further in this main room, and that David came into, and again, the same room that we would see in the first Alien film with that mummified, alien, fossilized and such. Well, because one of those engineers is in hypersleep, and David awakens the one engineer, and Shaw's like still telling them that this is a bad idea and what this alien like structure is, and it is a ship. It is a ship, yeah, if any of you didn't figure that out by now. Because Peter, he won't listen to Shaw, and getting his son David to speak, and it's in the engineer's language and so on, what Peter is wanting to ask to the engineer, and things get out of hand just like that. The engineer pushes them aside and, hits Peter Whaling that hard, just like really wounding him. And, good on Shaw's part, she makes a run for it. Because how badly wounded Peter Whaling was, and, David, because basically the engineer alien, just broke his head and just ripped it off, yeah. Well, it wouldn't be the same if we wouldn't see an android be damaged and be, cut in half or whatever. So, have to have that in, of course, in one of these movies. But anyways, so again, Shaw making a run for it, and, again, just things getting out of hand, and, Miss Vickers orders the captain to leave. By what has happened this time, and just really things have gotten out of hand, and, Shaw still making a run for it, and the ship, the engineer gets into this cockpit and such, and, getting the ship to take off, and what we really learn, and according to Shaw, that this was death. The ship was death, a death trap and such. What it had, and the ship was gonna travel to Earth, and just imagine if it did make its way to Earth, and what would happen to society, human society? Yeah, so the ship had death written on it, all over it. And of course, Shaw, because of course she knows this, and telling, Miss Vickers and the captain, but Miss Vickers is not having any of it. They're leaving, and they're getting, pardon my French, they're getting the hell off out of that planet surface. But there were a couple of times where, Shaw had some interactions with the captain, and, they were pretty good. And with their mission and their destination on this surface. And at one point, the captain didn't care, and he just wanted to get out. But, Shaw convincing the captain to do something about this, and to stop that ship, that alien ship, from making its destination to Earth. And, the captain does so, even telling Miss Vickers to shut up and just get out of the way. And for Miss Vickers, she doesn't get her way, but she's still going to do whatever it takes to get out of the planet's surface, by desperately getting on a spacesuit and taking an escaped pod shuttle, while the captain, and along with, I believe, Chance and, Ravel, Benedict Wong's character, they're willing to sacrifice themselves to stop that alien ship, and of course, they would become heroes, saving mankind, and they do so. And, there were times that the captain was singing, and he was singing a little bit of a song as they were preparing to ram the Prometheus ship right into that alien ship. And when they do so, the ship explodes, and a much bigger explosion when the alien ship starts to crash land. And it's making its way where, Miss Shaw and Miss Vickers, where they're at, and they just make a run for it. Sadly, and should have seen this coming, Vickers sadly meets her demise when part of that ship crushes her, and for Shaw, it was that close to crushing her too, but she survived for only like 2 minutes because the oxygen in her spacesuit is running out of air, and she desperately makes it to one of those escaped shuttles, part of Prometheus, and luckily she does survive. And when closing the doors, but she discovers and sees the room that she was in, getting that thing out of her stomach. She can see that it's grown. And then David calls up Shaw, David is still doing all right. Well, yeah, because he's an android, and if he's not that badly damaged, so... But despite the fact that his head was literally ripped off, but he's okay still. Nice to see. David, because some things he doesn't understand, but in some ways, you know what, because he can understand for Shaw. You know what I mean? And if you've seen this movie, you know exactly. Yeah, that's great to see. And again, Michael Fassbender as the android David, really good. Yeah, and the interactions and moments he has with the other characters, and of course, most notably Shaw. David warns Shaw that something's coming towards her, and it's that one alien engineer, and I think, yeah, it's the same one, because when the ship crash landed, well, somehow the engineer alien survived and starts going after Shaw, but good on Shaw's part and her move, because opening the door where that creature is, and with its tentacles grabbing the engineer alien, Shaw making another run for it, putting on her space helmet again, and yeah, by this time, yeah, because, you know, fixing up the oxygen for the spacesuit, and, you know, again, making a run for it while the, like, facehugger-like creature, that's kind of what it's supposed to be, I assume, it basically envelops the engineer, best way to put it. The engineer alien does not last that long, doesn't stand a chance between this thing, yeah. So that's it for that's the end of the engine, that one surviving alien engineer meeting its demise. And there's a moment between Shaw and David. David tells Shaw to help him, and why should she help him, and so on. But David giving a good explanation and such, and yeah, and because Shaw, I guess, now fully trusting David, and yeah, because they can help one another, and if Shaw is able to, fix up and repair David, but yeah, because when she makes it back to where David is, packing up his head, and I don't think, no, because, she can't carry his body, I should say, his android body, so only his head. So yeah, Shaw and David, the last two remaining survivors of the Prometheus ship, and Shaw basically giving a entry log and so on, and reporting that all of the crew members and of Prometheus all are lost except for her being the last surviving crew member of the spaceship Prometheus, and she's gonna explore, and she wants to go where they come from, the engineers, I assume, yeah. So, nice to see that, Shaw did survive, and I kind of had a little bit of, moments, where I was like, oh, don't kill her off, she's really good. Well, obviously someone had to survive, and, well, it's obvious that it would be her. Well, and alongside with her, David. And, seeing as how at the end of Aliens, Bishop did survive, but when Alien 3 happened, but, even David informed her that there were plenty of other ships on the planet's surface, and, they can fly in and escape the planet's atmosphere, and they do so, and kind of a happy ending for Shaw and David, and even though all of the people and the crew members of the Prometheus ship were lost, and, especially, from, say, the captain and Charlie, sadly, it's a shame that Shaw lost the love of her life. So, the movie doesn't stop there. We come back to the engineer alien, we see his lifeless body, and something is bursting out of his chest. And, I think we know what it is. It is a xenomorph, technically, but it's just a little hair different. Well, and because they can morph, and because that's in their name, xenomorph, just a little hair different. And again, as I said, the ship that they discover on the planet's atmosphere, it's not the same from the first Alien film, and no eggs and nothing. Again, the movie fooled us thinking, but at the same time, like I said, I don't think it disappoints with the fact that, it's not the same ship from the first Alien film. You know what I'm saying? It still did pretty well, even though it wasn't really connected to what was shown in Alien, and not the same planet with the numbers and with LV, okay? But, you know, aside from that, this movie still turned out pretty good. And, well, you know, and also some things, it would be left for a sequel, which we would get another Alien film after this. But yeah, just overall, how Prometheus ended, it was pretty good. Prometheus, yeah. What a good film in the Alien franchise, like how this turned out to be. It did not disappoint. And yeah, thanks to Sir Ridley Scott when he came back to the franchise and when he brought us this movie and something that he wanted to do for a long time. Yeah, the story was pretty good. The characters, the casting, and just, you know, the music and score, the effects, and with the alien creatures in this, the intenseful stuff, the gruesome stuff, the funny moments, and the heavy and emotional moments in Prometheus. Just everything about Prometheus did not disappoint. It was really good. Really, really good. And I'm giving Prometheus, well, what the heck, 10 out of 10 stars. Yes, 10 out of 10 stars for Prometheus. Just, yeah, great to see that this did pretty well. Really good. The best, pretty good, you know, film in the Alien franchise for quite a while since the first two. Okay, so what about you guys? What did you think of Prometheus itself? Were you surprised how good this turned out to be? Were you surprised to see that, you know, as I said, this movie fooling us and that it's not really connected with what was shown in the first Alien film? You know, which characters did you enjoy? Did you get some laughs when, you know, some funny moments happened? Did you get emotional and just like, oh my gosh, when the intenseful and gruesome stuff happened? Yeah, just overall, what did you think of Prometheus itself? And with, you know, with my review, what I've had to say on it, and yeah, what did you think of my review? Leave comments and give this review video a like, as always. And so, with all that being said, thank you very much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed my review of Prometheus. More review videos are on the way. They're going to be awesome. Keep looking forward, and I'll see you guys in the next video / review. And well, there's only one more Alien film for me to review, and yep, part of the Alien Review Marathon. You know what's next. Stay tuned later tonight for my review of Alien Covenant. Take care and peace out.